Before I start this video, I do want to say I have made this video in the past, but I do want to make a brand new one of this video just because I feel like I have a little bit more information about the Rune Anvil, and there's like a little bit of extra stuff that I wanted to add into this video that I didn't in my other one. So if you do want to, you can check out my other one, and if you want to learn how to get rune fragments, I have videos for that as well. But I'm just going to cover the Rune Anvil and how important this left side is. But if you're trying to get Mystic Gear or you want to still farm the runic trunk boxes, everything related to D15 just stick with the middle. But the left side is very good because you can end up getting every single rune in the game. And this one over here says it unlocks all of Zephyr and Pyric rune crafting, so anything related to runes that are in these two branches you can end up getting, so that's why this left side's really good. Only downside is that this is the boxes you get from DE15 from the 5-star dungeons, so you'll be missing out on that because this isn't a rune that you need. And if you don't know what a rune is, it's pretty much the thing that goes into your auto use spot. So the Zephyr rune, for example, or just anything else in this rune crafting bench. It's like the metallic rune, the blank runes, empty runes, stuff like that. Like this is the ones that I'm talking about. So we got the abyssal rune, for example, and it breaks if you were to touch lava or the jealous flame. So that's going to be the ones from the depths delve. So there isn't going to be too many situations where you run into those exact scenarios. So you can end up keeping this rune, the 450 lights. So it is pretty good. We also have this one over here, not super amazing, but it's pretty handy. If you take damage, the rune breaks, but in exchange you get one of these abilities. And last but not least, this one's pretty cool. It doesn't really give light, unfortunately, but if you defeat an enemy, it restores one of your flasks back. It does break, which sucks, but there are some interesting options. But either way, I will give a shout out to Atronics. I did know about this stuff before he posted this stuff in the Discord, but I figured I may as well give him credit, so shout outs to Atronics. But anyway, enjoy the video. Hey yo, what is going on, guys? Cash and Clean here. I just wanted to talk about the Rune Anvil, best direction to go in, and basically what to do with that. So if we take a look at the Rune Anvil, we're gonna have a bunch of different directions. Now, the main thing to note is that you have to complete this bottom one before you can access any of these three up here. So you have to complete all of the nodes that are down here. And some good ones to look out for is gonna be this one over here that lets you get rune fragments in depth delve. That's how you're gonna farm rune fragments, apart from the runes themselves that go into your auto use spot. This is another okay-ish one if you're trying to get the boxes. If you just mine the ore, there's actually an additional chance you can get Miner's Trove, so you can collect ore. But it also gives you a chance to get the encrusted runic trunks, which is going to be super helpful for the D15 resources. Just know that it's a horrible way to farm them, but it's a way to get started. And if you're curious on what's inside of these boxes, I have a video opening a stack of them, so you can kind of refer to that to see what is the possibilities from 10,000 boxes. And the other things are going to be this over here. So pretty much the main thing with the Rune Anvil is that it's kind of tied in with runes themselves. So this is what a rune looks like. This is the Zephyr rune. So as you can see, it gives me stats, and there's a chance that this can break. So for this one, for example, if I go into acid and if I take damage from that acid, it says I'm going to be immune for 10 seconds, but that's how it breaks. And whenever it breaks, you go onto a cooldown system. So the cooldown is going to be this stuff up here. So this reduces it to 53 seconds, and then this reduces it all the way down to 40 seconds. So you can't spam break them over and over. So that's why there's a cooldown there. And if you don't want your runes to break, it's going to be this thing over here, the unbreakable rune, and it's at the depths carver for 300 skill. So go to the rune crafting bench, and it's the depths carver, and it's this unbreakable rune. It costs 15 rune fragments, but this thing lasts an hour. Not that much time, but if you also put this on and you don't want it, you can just go into your effects tab and you should have an option to remove it. It'll look a little bit different if you don't have my mods, but just it should pretty much be the same. But either way, that's the bottom portion. The next thing is the top three. So if you're trying to go for Mystic Gear, trying to get rune fragments, anything related to that, you want to pick this middle tree. And that's going to be pretty much all of us, unless you're in the future and you don't care about this stuff, or if you just don't care about this stuff in general. Then you can refer to this left tree. There's some pretty interesting runes over here, and then there's also a node. This one over here where it says at the very bottom also unlocks all Zephyr and Pyric rune crafting, so that this is the Zephyr and then this is the Pyric. So Pyric, Zephyr, so you're gonna get all the runes from these, and you have to make it all the way down here. So you can only complete one of these, you can't do all of them. So if you're not doing the middle one, then you can do the left one, because this gives you all the runes. And this has a bunch of cool stuff, like there's a chance you can craft extra leaflets, there's a chance you can get extra rune slates, some extra runes. If you have a rune that breaks, you increase your stability, max health, health regen. Horrible stats, but I mean, I guess stability's okay, but you get the point. So pretty good. This one over here is going to be for damage, and it doesn't just straight up increase your damage. There's specific runes that you have to put on to get the effects that it's saying. So this one that's saying increases your damage by 20%. It's just saying this is the rune over here, you're gonna have to put that on. And if it is a rune, then this pretty much already covers it, so why not just go? I don't understand the point of this side if you can just get this. I guess I haven't really looked too in-depthly at this, but they're pretty much mainly runes, and if you're putting on a rune, you may as well unlock this node over here. But I'm sure you guys might need rune fragments, essence. You might want to get encrusted runic trunks, the boxes I just talked about from 5-star dungeons, which is this node up here. So what you would want to do is go up this over here, and this is the cool thing. Once you get to this node over here, don't worry about this right side. This side is kind of useless, except for the Zephyr rune. Zephyr rune's really good, but you can worry about that last. So go through this middle section. So this says if a rune breaks, you get essence, one of the 3. So it's going to be at random. This is good because a lot of the mastery is going to require essence, so you will need this resource. Now from here, you could go straight to this one, which is going to be allowing you to get the runic trunk boxes from 5-star dungeons when you open the vault, or you can go for this over here, which is you get additional rune fragments when a rune breaks. So the cool thing about that, you can actually chain it with, I don't know why I said chain, but you can combine it with this thing over here from the Dabblers tab, the metallic rune. And this is pretty much when you take damage, your rune breaks, which is really easy and simple to do. So what you could do is craft a bunch of these, go to like, I don't know, Desert Frontier, and go to an area where you out heal the damage that the enemies do. So you can just sit there taking damage and your runes are going to be constantly breaking. Now there is a cooldown, obviously, the 40 seconds that we went over here. So it's not all the time, but it's pretty often. So not only do you get additional rune fragments, you're going to make profit off of it. So when you go back to recraft them, instead of you getting back 1, you're gonna get like 5 back or 3 back, something like that. It'll still cost you a bunch of the other resources, but at least you're gonna make profit with your rune fragments. So you can just sit there, take damage, have a bunch of these equipped, and eventually you can use that method to try to get this node up here. I have it unlocked so it doesn't show, but I think it was like 12.5 thousand, I think, for the rune fragments to get this thing. But either way, that's what I would recommend. So you can go for the additional rune fragments, then that one. Then after that, it doesn't really matter. You can go for these 2 nodes, and then you can go for these ones last. You don't have to go for these. I've tried using these before and haven't really benefited that much in using this. If you have, let me know in the comments down below. I mainly just use this Zephyr rune because this thing doesn't really break that often. There isn't really that many things in the game that do acid. Wait, that sounded kind of weird. Enemies that produce acid for you to step in. So that means if you're trying to not break your runes, you can have this one. Because if you're just farming, there isn't really that many enemies that have acid, mainly in D15 or in Depths Delve, and I think Geotopside has some, and I think there's one some other place, but you get the point. So that's what I would do with the Rune Anvil. If you think there's another method that's better, let me know in the comments down below. And if this changes in the future, then I'll be sure to update you guys. But either way, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all later.